What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the MMA Zone. In today's news, Sean O'Malley talks about his next title defense. The dust is settling now after UFC 299, where Sugar Sean O'Malley made his first successful defense of his bantamweight title when he beat Marlon Vera in a dominant decision over 5 rounds. During his post-fight interview, he called for a super fight with new featherweight champ Ilia Topuria, to the dismay of the #1 contender at 135 pounds, Merab Dvalishvili. The machine has been floating around the top of the division for a long time, patiently waiting for his opportunity while his friend and teammate Aljamain Sterling held the belt. Many had assumed that he was a safe bet to be the next challenger once O'Malley claimed the belt, only for Sugar to ignore his claims and call out Topuria instead. However, it seems O'Malley may have changed his tune, tweeting this week, "I want Merab. 2025 will be legendary." Dvalishvili was quick to respond, taking issue with both O'Malley's apparent plans to sit out for the remainder of 2024 and with the incorrect spelling of his name. "I've been waiting for this call out for 7 years. But who is Merab? Dude, review my name lessons I gave Henry. Merab. And guess you need another year to prepare for the machine." O'Malley has reassured fans he was trolling Merab by saying he wants to sit out this year and promises to beat his ass this year.
Alright boys, just shot off a little tweet, Merab 2025. That's not real. I'm gonna beat his ass this year, probably, but I just thought I'd, fluster him. He's short, so he gets mad easily, so.
Switching to the middleweight division, Strickland and Dricus du Plessis go back and forth. The 185-pound title fight between Strickland and du Plessis at UFC 297 in January caused a lot of debate between fans and media alike. The South African came out on top via split decision, but Strickland refuses to accept the result and insists to this day that he should still be the champion, or at the very least, he should get an immediate rematch. He took to social media this week to claim that politics played a big part in him losing to du Plessis, and therefore losing the belt he had only won just after beating Israel Adesanya 4 months earlier. He tweeted, "And man, I don't want to pull this card, but when does the champ ever lose a close fight? When you're in Canada with a bunch of dirty leftists." Now it seems that du Plessis is not opposed to the idea of an immediate rematch. He tweeted, "Since this is a spectator sport, what do you guys think? Strickland or Stylebender? Just for the record, it makes no difference to me, the result will be the same." Strickland was quick to reply to that tweet, firing back, "Here's the thing, Dana himself said I won. The number said I won. Let's settle this. I respected you before, I respected you after, but this needs to be settled once and for all." With rumors abound that Adesanya is ready to come back after not being seen in action since losing the belt to Strickland, it appears that the UFC have 2 enticing options to face du Plessis for his first title defense of the middleweight belt. Next up, some UFC fight announcements. Marvin Vettori has pulled out injured from his upcoming bout with Brendan Allen at the Apex on April 6th, and he's been replaced by Chris Curtis in a rematch. The pair first fought in December 2021. Curtis finished Allen in the 2nd round that night, and Allen has since gone on a 6-fight win streak in the UFC's middleweight division. Curtis won his most recent bout at UFC 297 in January against Marc-Andre Barrio via split decision. Karolina Kowalkiewicz will look to continue her 4-fight win streak when she faces Yasmin Lucindo at UFC 301 in Brazil on May 4th. Also on UFC 301, Michel Pereira will square off against Mahmoud Muradov. Pereira is coming hot off the heels of a quick submission victory at UFC 299 recently. On the subject of UFC 301, Ariel Helwani tweeted that Steve Erceg will face flyweight champion Alexandre Pantoja for the belt, and that Erceg's team insists this will be the main event, although this has yet to be confirmed. The Australian has had just 3 fights in the UFC, but he grabbed a lot of attention with his devastating finish over Matt Schnell just last week. And finally, the undefeated Eduarda Moura will take on Denise Gomes in an all-Brazilian strawweight clash on Las Vegas on June 8th. Moura, who now sits at 10-0, had an impressive debut victory in the octagon over Montserrat Conejo Ruiz in November. Gomes will be looking to get back in the win column after losing last time out to Angela Hill. Moving back to UFC 300 now, Bo Nickal responds to UFC 300 Backlash. The topic of the UFC 300 main card is one that has been causing controversy and getting fans talking on social media for months now. Before the main event between Alex Pereira and Jamal Hill was announced, 300's possible headliners seemed to be the only discussion on MMA fans in the early part of 2024. Now that the lineup has been finalized, it seems that a large portion of the fan base still have some issues to gripe about, most notably the placement of Bo Nickal and Cody Brundage in the middle of the main card. card. Given that the 5-fight main card contains 3 title fights, the sight of 2 unranked middleweights slap bang in the center of the main card certainly has raised a few eyebrows. Nickal certainly seems to be benefiting from prime placements like this in his UFC career so far. After coming through Dana White's Contender Series at just 3-0, the former Penn State wrestling superstar has opened the main card in both of his Octagon appearances to date, picking up first-round stoppage victories over Jamie Pickett and Val Woodburn. The uproar over the placement of this bout has been noticeable, but Nickal doesn't seem fazed in the slightest. Speaking on his YouTube channel, he said, "At the end of the day, the decision was made because I probably sell more, like more people want to see me. Why would they put me there unless more people want to see me? Because at the end of the day, the most watched sport is the prelims and the main prelims. So if they wanted more people to see me, they would put me at the main prelim. But the reality is, they want to sell more pay-per-views, so they put me on the pay-per-view." It certainly seems the UFC have big plans for Bo Nickal going forward. In heavyweight news, Jon Jones meets Tom Aspenall. Since winning the UFC interim heavyweight title with a knockout win over Sergey Pavlovich at UFC 295 in November, Tom Aspenall has been relentlessly calling out the reigning champion Jon Jones for a unification bout. Jones, who's currently healing after surgery on a torn pec, has stated that he plans to honor the previously made matchup with Stipe Miocic once he returns to full health, leaving Aspinall somewhat in limbo. The pair crossed paths this weekend at a public event, and Aspinall took the opportunity to get face-to-face with Jones. There was a tense moment when the Brit placed his hand on Jones's shoulder, and Bones removed it. But the interaction seemed respectful and polite, if a little awkward. Jones was happy to take a picture with Aspinall, but rejected his request for a face-off. While Aspinall still seems to harbor some hopes that he will get that fight someday, many fans feel Jones may retire after he faces Miocic. In other news, Gilbert Burns has broken his silence on UFC loss. Gilbert Burns came heartbreakingly close to getting his hand raised against Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 300. Durinho looked good over the opening 2 rounds, and the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt seemed to be dominating the grappling with 2 minutes to go before the Australian created a scramble to get back to his feet and then claim an impressive knockout victory. Burns has opened up on his YouTube channel about where he sees himself in the welterweight picture after now dropping 2 defeats in a row. "I'm 37, I'm not getting any younger, but I do believe I have everything I need to become a champion. Concerning the footwork, the defense, technical stuff, combos, I was throwing a lot of single shots, but I'm still there. I'm still alive in the division. I know I can beat so many guys. The dream is still alive. I still want to become a champion. It's not just a dream, it's my goal. Guess what? I'm going to work very hard for that. For sure, a little cleanup, little thing I need to do technically, mentally, physically. We always need to improve." Burns has now lost 3 of his last 5 bouts in the welterweight division, losing to Khamzat Chimaev, Bilal Muhammad, and now Della Maddalena. With so many talented prospects filling up the top 10 at 170 pounds, it would seem his back is up against the wall. And finally, Daniel Cormier goes off on Fighter. In a recent episode of his podcast, Good Guy, Bad Guy with Chael Sonnen, it seems Daniel Cormier threw a little shade in the direction of Frenchman Cedric Doumbé. News emerged that Jack Della Maddalena broke his arm early in his fight against Gilbert Burns, yet still somehow continued on and picked up a knockout win late on in the bout. Cormier reacted to the news, praising the Aussie for his toughness and seemingly used the opportunity to cast doubts over the resilience of PFL superstar Doumbé. Jack Della Maddalena, if he was not impressive enough on Saturday night, we just found out that he broke his arm very early in that fight and then still finished Gilbert Burns. He compared JDM's situation with that of Doumbé, who stopped fighting twice during his PFL Europe headliner bout in Paris to complain to the referee about an apparent splinter in his foot during the final round. After warning him to continue fighting, Mark Goddard eventually stepped in and called a TKO victory for Doumbé's opponent, Basangur Chamsudinov. Cormier said of Della Maddalena, "He's insanely durable, he's insanely tough, and it tells you what adrenaline does for you. We had one guy get stopped because he had a splinter. The other guy fought with a broken arm and got the job done. That's the levels of fighting we see in the UFC, and sometimes you don't see it in other places." It seems Jack Della Maddalena has certainly gained DC's approval. UFC fighter Isaac Dogarian is accusing his opponent Christian Rodriguez of cheating. Isaac called out Christian Rodriguez and accused him of lubing his body up with lotion, causing him to be slippery in their grappling exchanges. Here's what Isaac had to say.
"I don't really know what happened this fight. I don't feel like I lost this fight. And as you can tell, I'm not super banged up. Round 1, I scored a 10-8 across the scorecards. In round 2, I had about 4 minutes and 10 seconds of control time. Really only ate 1 significant strikes, and somehow 2 of these judges gave him round 2. And then round 3, obviously I lost that round. Wasn't very optically pleasing. but it is what it is, man. One thing I did notice, though, is I had to use a lot of strength and energy to keep this guy down. About 3 minutes into round 1, I'm completely dry, and this guy is shining. I've grappled thousands of bodies, and I know when people are cheating. This guy was lubed up. He had lotion on or something. And it is what it is, man. I can't really do.
Top comments. Tired of hearing Page being disappointed with his performance. Colby should just shut up now. I'm so sick of Conor acting like he's getting ready to fight. The dude has dragged Chandler along for the ride without any inclination of fighting. Sick of Conor blaming everyone else. It's him that's not playing ball. We know Chandler's ready, so it's just a case of calling Dana to get a contract written up for both them to sign. Anyone with sense has known for ages that he ain't coming back. Make sure to leave a comment and you might get featured in our next video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to never miss any MMA news. Check out our video from yesterday if you missed it. See you tomorrow.